Hello and welcome to What's Wrong with American Schools, explained by me, Pop Vote. Like many issues in America, education is plagued by the colossal, looming force that is money in politics. But let's step back for a second and look at education in the US. America is the land of government efficiency, which makes it weird that we enthusiastically spend over $115,000 per student between kindergarten and 9th grade. That's the fifth most of any country in the world. With the absurd amount we spend on our schools, you might expect we lead the pack in terms of education, but the fact is we don't. We most certainly don't. Among developed nations, the US ranks 27th in math, 20th in science, and 17th in reading. These are the results you'd expect if we were working on a shoestring budget, but America spares no expense when it comes to education. On the other hand, Shanghai, which placed first in math, science, and reading education, spent only $49,000 per student over the same period of time. In other words, we are paying more than twice as much for a worse education. This is terrible policy. Theoretically, we should be able to both cut costs and improve our schools. But despite our half-hearted efforts, we are not improving. Since 2003, our students' performance has flatlined. So why aren't we improving? Is it that we can't pinpoint the problems with our schools? Well, no. The consensus among academics and reformers is overwhelming and, well, unsurprising. Bad teachers are the problem. Good teachers are the solution. Research has shown that on average, students with a good teacher, that is, a teacher near the top of the quality distribution, perform a whole grade level higher than students with a bad teacher, or a teacher near the bottom of the quality distribution, after just one academic year. And though there are many factors that affect a student's education, any policy aimed at improving our schools must start by improving the quality of our teachers. Okay, so how do we start reforming the system? Well, we can improve teacher training and raise the best teachers' salaries. But these are long-term solutions that will take time to improve our education system. The answer to short-term improvement to our schools is simple: reform teacher tenure. For those who don't know, tenure is a form of job protection generally granted to people whose long-term professional duties may conflict with the short-term goals of their superiors in order to prevent arbitrary termination. Academics doing research in a controversial field need to know that they will still have a job if a top donor to their institution opposes their research. Judges need to know politicians can't remove them from office for their rulings. But this is not the case for K-12 teachers. K-12 teachers should share one all-encompassing interest with their superiors: the education of every child in their classroom. And though teachers, like any professional, need some job security, quality of education must be the key to teacher retention if we hope to improve our education system. In fact, the evidence behind this is so strong that a California judge ruled teacher tenure unconstitutional, stating that the court found that both students and teachers are unfairly, unnecessarily, and for no legally cognizable reason, let alone a compelling one, disadvantaged by the permanent employment statute, that is, teacher tenure. So, why don't the rest of us just bite the bullet and cut teacher tenure out of the system? Well, it's not hard to explain. The teachers' unions fund American politics. America's two largest teachers' unions, the National Education Association and the American Federation of Teachers, spent a combined total of $330 million on political endeavors between 2007 and 2011. The vast majority of these contributions went towards Democratic campaigns. In the 2012 election, the National Education Association gave 93% of total contributions to Democratic candidates. And boy, when a political party finds a reliable donor, it latches on and holds tight. And for good reason, too. Members of Congress spend anywhere from 30 to 70% of their time raising money. Any hour a politician can cut from his or her fundraising schedule is an hour that can be spent actually working on policy. Unfortunately, the Democratic Party's dependence on teachers' unions for political contributions gives these unions quite a bit of power that the unions wield against anyone who tries to touch their sacred cow, teacher tenure. On multiple occasions, the teachers' unions have ousted politicians attempting to reform the school system by throwing the full force of their dollar behind the opposition candidate. This is why we can't shake off our bad teachers. This is why our students' performance has flatlined since 2003. And this is why we can't fix our school system. And this is only one iota of the effects of money in politics. A drop in the bucket. You see, it's not that unions are bad, Republicans pass absurd curriculums, or Democrats support teacher tenure. Our education system is failing because our political system encourages organizations to donate millions to politicians in exchange for political favors. This tit-for-tat politics is behind everything from corn subsidies to our financial system's insecurity, and political progress, much like the performance of our schools, will remain at a standstill until we can alleviate the pressures of money in politics. There are a dozen ways to curb the effects this money has without crippling monetary freedom of speech. We could institute a democracy voucher system to rebate tax money for political use. We could pass a constitutional amendment requiring campaign finance reform. Who knows, maybe Congress will pass campaign finance reform on their own initiative. I'm just scratching the surface here, because it doesn't matter where we start so long as we begin to have the discussion about how to realign Congress with the average citizen, rather than the average donor. Greetings, active electorate. This video was inspired by Lawrence Lessig and the Mayday Super PAC. Mayday is a crowd-funded super PAC to end all super PACs. Ironic, I know. They're attempting to reach their $5 million goal today. So please, if you care about getting rid of money in politics, click up here to donate and learn more. Also, if you like facts, links are in the description. See you next time.
Our lawmakers don't really care about everybody's creativity. The way our system works, our lawmakers, if they want to keep their jobs, they have to only care about big money donations.